Hello, hello, and welcome to the mobility bonus track. Today we're going to be focusing on hamstrings and calves. Every week you are going to get one mobility flow, and it should take you less than 12 minutes to complete. Without further ado, let's get into it. First thing you're going to need is a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, a foam roller if you don't have something like this available. Take a seat. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on a bench. We're going to put that lacrosse ball right underneath your hamstring. We're going to kind of wiggle around until you find a tight spot. Once you do, we're going to go ahead and bend from the knee and extend. Bend and extend. You can kind of go around finding some tight spots, wiggle in, bend, and extend. We're going to do 90 seconds on each side, but if you find that you need a little bit more time, no worries, because you can always pause this video to continue on for some extra time. So wiggle around, bend, and extend. Couple more seconds. And extend. If you're doing this from the floor, if you don't have something to sit on, no worries. You'll just wiggle around, kind of hold it on those tight spots. You can go ahead and switch to the other side. Same thing. Wiggle around until you find a tight spot. And you're going to bend and extend. If you find that one side is a lot tighter than the other, you might want to spend a little extra time on that side. If one side's really uncomfortable, a little trick I'm going to teach you today is to exhale with your breath through those tight spots. We got a couple more seconds. One more spot. We're going to move on to doing our calves. All right. Now we're going to move on down to the floor. We're going to kind of follow the same pattern. We're going to do 90 seconds on each side. We're going to kind of put that lacrosse ball, that tennis ball underneath our calf. We're going to kind of wiggle around, roll around until we find a tight spot. Once we do, we're going to point our toes, then we're going to flex. We're going to point, and we're going to flex. We're going to do about 90 seconds on each side. Whenever we're doing any kind of rolling or smashing with the foam roller, with a tennis ball, with a lacrosse ball, we want to do this first. Because what we found is that doing some of this rolling technique first helps give us a little bit more range of motion in our joints, especially if this is the day after a hard workout or a long run. This is a tool that we can do to feel a little bit better, at least for a couple of minutes. Give us some opportunity to do some mobility specific exercises and actually get us moving better in the long term. Couple more seconds and then we're going to switch to the other side. And you can go ahead and switch. Same thing. We're gonna wiggle around until we find a knot. We're gonna flex. We're gonna extend. We wanna add in that flexion and extension. That way we're gonna get a little bit more out of this. We wanna add in that movement that our calf is actually designed to go through. Now what you'll notice, I know I already feel my right side feels better. It feels like looser, it almost feels like lighter than when I first started. Couple more seconds after we go through some smashing, some rolling, we're gonna get into our dynamic, our mobility exercises. These are all designed to get our hamstrings and our calves and our ankles moving better. Three, 2, 1. All right, here's what we're gonna do next. You can set your lacrosse ball to the side. You're gonna lay on your back. From here, you're gonna bend your knee and you're gonna hold onto the back of your leg. We're gonna do extend the leg as much as you can. It's okay if you can't get it all the way extended. If it's here, that's fine. We're gonna bring our toes to our nose. We're gonna get a big stretch through the back of our leg. We're gonna point our toes away. We're gonna bend the knee. Extend the knee, toes to nose, point the toes away, bend the knee again. We're gonna do 10 on each side. With this, we're getting a nice stretch through our calf, through our hamstring. But what we're also doing is we are flossing our sciatic nerve. It's our big long nerve that runs from our back all the way through our hamstring and into our calf. That's why it's really important that you bend your knee with every rep. We're gonna do 2 more. And last one. And you can go ahead and switch. We're gonna do 10 on this side as well. Extend the knee, toes to nose, point them away, and bend. Three more. Feel free to pause at the top if you need to. All right. We're moving on to our ankles. You're gonna grab a band. If you don't have a band, you can do this without the band. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna loop it. So it's gonna be tied to something nice and sturdy. It's gonna be pulling your ankle backwards. We're gonna start body weight. We're gonna rock forward. We're gonna pause. and we're gonna rock back. We're gonna go about a minute on each side. Now you can kind of play around with if you're going like over your big toe or like right over the middle, but you should feel a nice stretch through the back of your calf, maybe even a little bit in the front part of your ankle. Now, if that feels good, you could add a weight and put that right on your knee. Help you get a little bit more of a stretch. A couple more seconds, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch to the other side. Now, if you're feeling like you need to spend some more time on this side, you most certainly can, but we're gonna go ahead and switch. Something I should add, you're gonna wanna keep that heel flat on the floor the whole time. I don't wanna see that heel come up. So if that heel comes up, we aren't gonna get that full stretch through our calf. We aren't gonna be working on our ankle mobility. Now, if you find that one side feels a lot tighter, maybe your knee doesn't go quite as far over your toes, you might want to spend a little bit more time on that side. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna do one more rock, and then we're gonna move on to our last exercise for today. I'm gonna loop out of this band, and I'm gonna find something to put my toes up on. I'm using this plate. You could use a slant board. You could use, use a little step on my bench. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna roll down, keeping my legs straight. And I'm gonna feel a nice big stretch through the back of my leg and in my calves. I'm gonna roll back up. We're gonna do this nice and slow. So I'm gonna roll down. I wanna create as much bend in my back as I can. Feel a nice big stretch. That feels good. If you want to get a little bit more intense of a stretch, you can grab a weight. I would start with something like 5 to 10 pounds. If this is already an intense stretch, you can just keep it as is. Keep it body weight. We're going to go ahead and do 2 more. All right, that is all I have for you. Stay tuned for week 2 next week. Take care.